Higgins fans. Let's go!
It's hard because I wanted to do the thing where we just started talking instead of the intro, but I think part of it is when we know exactly when we're recording, then it's hard to go
it's
in.
hard. Yeah,
I know. But I gotta say,
how
man,
natural me asking Nick if we're all good.
Yeah, that's how most conversations start. The pearly whites are out, dude. It's 80 degrees today. I've heard before, tell me if I'm wrong, April showers bring May flowers.
I've heard that, yes.
80 degrees.
80 degrees.
It did snow last week, I guess.
It did snow last week. Is it going to snow again?
Who knows with this Colorado weather, brother?
Yes.
Like, really.
Yeah.
It's impossible to say. I'm also doing a timer.
Okay, cool.
But, seasons are changing.
Mm-hmm.
New eras in many respects.
Yes. We've had people clamoring for our takes, Noah. I'm going to say that right now.
I think most people, at least in my immediate family, I told people to not contact me and to not get. Okay. So this is a good official take because I really haven't talked to anybody.
Well, this is our emergency podcast 3 days later.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it 3 days? 4 days?
Yeah, didn't it happen on Monday?
All right. Well, I will get this up tomorrow.
Great.
And then, so we'll try to do that. But the Michael Malone era has ended, Noah. And quick shout out before we get going to former guest Josh Emerson, who was on the Denver City Cast pod and plugged our pod because they were talking about Malone.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Josh.
So thank you,
and
Josh.
You can see Josh's new documentary, Killers of the Flower Moon. It's out there somewhere. No, we're of course being kidding. We enjoy people from different perspectives. Thank you, Josh, for plugging us. And if you listen, man, that Suns team sucks.
Yes. So, in a surprising twist of events, the Nuggets have dismissed both Calvin Booth and Michael Malone in a red wedding type of
that's a great way of putting it. Yeah.
Scenario. It's funny you said nobody, or you told people to stop talking to you about it.
Well, anybody that reached out, I basically was like, check out the
because I did have a lot of people reach out to me.
Okay, and I had less people. I did the way I found out because I do have my phone off during the day, and my big thing is turning my phone on and seeing how many messages I got and being really excited.
Yeah.
It never happens. But I turned my phone on and it was 28 messages. And I was like, shoot. So there's no way it was a good thing. And then I actually didn't even press the various threads. I just saw Malone as the first thing and I was like, well, that's probably what happened.
Yeah.
Unless it was like he got in a car crash or something. I don't know.
Yeah, or he's like behind a terrorist attack or something.
Yeah, that was my my
second your first
option.
thought. Your second thought.
Second thought.
Yeah.
Dude. We'll talk about it. Were you surprised? First, I also want to say I want to shout out Michael Malone, man.
Yes.
He, he'll have a banner in the stadium, not least of which because he won our only championship, but is also there's a lot of things that bum me out. He's the wins leader of coaches, and I just I'm still bummed about it. I talked to you last night and I said ultimately if this does result in moving the needle forward, I'll be less bummed. But I think I'm going to be bummed seeing him on a different sideline with a different team because I felt like the culture of this team was Michael Malone and Nikola Jokic.
Yeah.
So shout out to him. Shout out to
Malone. I do want to say I agree with everything that Noah's saying.
Right.
I am going to be not on his side as much, I think.
No, and that's fine because
but I do respect and love what he's done.
I want you to make me feel better about it because and it's interesting that you are taking because from what I saw, most people were shocked and not psyched.
Well,
am I wrong on that?
No, you're not wrong on that. I was surprised about the timing of it and when it happened. But a part of me was kind of just excited for the shakeup and the.
Can you explain that though? Why?
Because We were about to record, or we haven't really talked about this 4-game losing streak before the Nuggets won on Wednesday. We're recording right before the last home game on Friday. And I was about to come in and just say the vibes were at an all-time low. And that not only was it losing, but it was losing in a weird way.
And to bad teams.
To bad teams, and to teams that Nuggets wouldn't lose to.
Correct. The Pacers, the Wizards again, the
not even that, but
Trailblazers.
Just like the overall, like, I'm all about, like, the Nuggets will lose a game, and then I'll feel like they're definitely going to win this next game.
Right.
Like, that's kind of the vibe.
Well,
or they come back. And
a lot of the season has been just flip-flopping, transitioning between wins and losses, especially this last stretch until we had those 4 in a row, which I didn't know. I didn't realize we haven't lost 4 in a row since 2023. So that's...
Even some of those games without Jokic, where it's like, how are they going to pull this off? And I was like, well, they usually pull off a couple of these.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, there was no, like, magic moment game. But, I mean, ultimately, my point was going to be that something was going to collapse in the playoffs. And then, and I think in a space where we've talked about player, like, changing things with players so much, you know, like, I think, like, actually this is the only thing they could do. You know what I mean? Like, like at the trade deadline, they could have found somebody at the trade deadline for sure. But I think, like, this is such a cool shakeup to me. And I think in basketball terms, which is another coaching thing, which is hilarious. But this is like a coach getting ejected, trying to get a team to get going.
You're saying that, yeah.
Yes.
And I think that's a good comp. My question is, would you feel that... I think the right move was Calvin Booth. I think we've talked about it on this podcast a lot, and how disappointing he's been, not just as like an actual general manager and things like that, but as a face of the franchise. Would you have been... It feels like the conflict between those two guys was perhaps core, and I just don't know why both of them had to go. I would have been way more upset if Calvin Booth was not fired. I think that was the correct move. But what if it was like a Calvin Booth got fired? Is Masai still in
he's still
Toronto?
in Toronto, yeah.
But I feel like that could have... There's a clock there. If we had gotten a legitimate front office GM kind of guy, and kept Malone, it feels like that whatever was relationship could be repaired with those two parts of the organization.
So I would say that one, I do agree that Calvin Booth deserved it more. Not to be like we'll do power rankings later at the end.
Yeah.
But I do
1 and 2.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I do feel like if the conflict was so bad, like ultimately, I hate to side with the Cronkies and stuff. Like we hate the Cronkies.
Yeah.
You know, and I hate to side with them or agree with them.
Side, yes.
But like, I do kind of think this is a better move just to get them both out of here. Like if they were arguing and not talking for multiple,
which is what the reports are.
Yeah, maybe years. Which is crazy.
Yeah.
I understand just being like, no, let's get them both out. And
I don't care who did it, kind of thing.
Yes.
I don't care whose fault it is.
Ultimately, Kroenke is siding with Jokic, mostly.
Well, that brings up another conversation.
Yeah, which we should get to. But I just think, like, Booth has been ultimately unsuccessful.
Correct.
But Malone, too, and again, I love Michael Malone, but he also had trouble with the guy who went to Minnesota, who I can't think of right now. Tim Connolly.
Yeah. Did he? I didn't know that.
Well, I mean, it's always been the same thing with Malone, not playing young players.
Sure.
And I'm not saying that's the right way to go or what they needed or anything. But Tim Connolly had to get rid of Torrey Craig for the Nuggets to play MPJ once upon a time.
Yeah.
So I think, like, at some point you have to be like, you know, I don't know how he gets over that ever, and I don't think he does ever. And he's a player's coach who lost the players. Clip that.
Yeah, jeez, yeah. Turn the TikTok camera on.
Yeah.
That's just surprising to me because I knew vibes were bad, but vibes were bad because we were losing. It didn't seem to me that vibes were bad because people weren't buying in. But you texted me the clip of. Are you watching Malone post game interviews a lot?
No, it's funny how this thing happened because There was some Nuggets fan account that I sent you on X or whatever that
you're even gonna do the X thing. You're bought in. Interesting. I don't want to hear that from you again.
It was the day. It was the day before this happened,
right?
And then he like brought up that clip or whatever,
which was a month prior
yes.
when we lost to the Trailblazers in Portland.
Yeah.
Well,
I think something like
Portland,
that.
Yeah.
But about just like that he, like pretty much saying they don't listen to him anymore, and it's just
what
just
is that? I don't even.
Him.
I just can't. For some reason, I can't wrap my head around that. This is a guy who, 18 months ago, two years ago, got a championship, and like I've said before, it felt like this team was Jokic and Malone, and then everything else was kind of insular. It felt like those are the core, truly, of the success of the team. And what, like, do you know, are we going to find out more? Like, is there something?
I don't think it's like a huge thing. I think it's just a thing of like, when you don't have a championship and a guy is like motivating you by kind of yelling at you all the time.
That's what coaches do.
It makes sense. Not in the NBA.
Okay.
You know, like you don't need to motivate NBA players technically. Like, and I think that's a clear sign of when effort, which was all year, effort's been bad, and defensive effort specifically. And I think like you don't want to run through a wall for a guy who's yelling at you when you already won a championship.
Yeah, but
it's just the wrong tone to have for the room.
I guess, but can't you make the argument that these guys are professionals and they did win a championship, and why can't they buy into a system that they know? I don't even know the specifics. Like if it's they're not watching game footage, and which is Malone mentioned.
Yeah, but I mean, there's just subtle thing, right? Like, there's not going to be any rage timeouts from David Adelman. I mean, he'll time out when he needs to, but he's not going to like fucking throw. You know what I mean?
Now we're
like,
just talking about demeanor and mentality.
That's what it is. Yeah, that's what this is. It's a change of mentality. It's a change of demeanor.
Do you think we get a fucking Frank Vogel?
I think
who's somebody who is so like, you know what I mean? Because that's I want to start that conversation.
I think you get someone more like. More of the Joe Mazzulla's or Brad Stevens, who are more.
Joe Mazzulla is, I mean, he's a calm guy, I guess, on the outside.
Because I agree with you that it's been Jokic and Malone, but and I don't think like their relationship has worsened or anything. But I think Jokic has lost a lot of faith in strategy and plays and mentality or things like that. So, and I think that's like all this is. I'm down for it because if Jokic was frustrated, which he has been, a change like this, he could have said no. He could have.
That's my question. This is sanctioned in one way or the other, whether it's not him making the call or but them asking and being okay with it.
Well, they made the call and then told Jokic, from what I understand,
which does not happen for a team with the best player in the league.
No, but also we have to understand that Jokic is not a guy who's going to complain about this. He's not a guy who's going to force Malone out.
Well, this is an argument I wanted to have too, which I thought to your side, which is when was the last time your boss got fired and you were upset about it?
Yes, exactly. And that's why
you know what I mean?
Well, we have to
he's the boss of the team, he's the authority figure.
And Jokic, we talk about this all the time, thinks about it as a job more than anybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like sure he can have a cool personal relationship with Malone. I bet he'll have a relationship with Malone that's like not that weird.
Yeah.
But I think at some point, it just wasn't working. I don't know. It just and I think about the Game 7 collapse last year to the Wolves. Yeah. You know, like that was bad.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have. I mean, we didn't even consider it at the time of getting rid of Malone. Probably.
I have at no point really wavered. Even people have been get rid of him for even before we won the championship through that time.
Now, like, I guess my whole, and I don't, the Kroenke thing I agree with the most, too, is, like, he was like, this season has been, masked by wins, too.
Well, that point, yes.
And I agree, and we've talked about it all year. It's been up and down. We haven't been able to really get a good read on the team because I think it's been mostly bad, but then they pull out games where Jokic is amazing. And I think, Jokic is, let's get into conspiracy stuff later. But
okay.
I
but it's coming up, folks.
It's coming up. Okay, it's coming up.
Season.
I have a lot of stuff. But you can't have like a team with the demeanor. Like I think it just worked for the championship and that certain group of players, and Malone's not like adjusting the way he's coaching for like an after championship way.
I buy all of that. And I'm not. First of all, if this is successful in one way or the other, I'll be psyched. I think that I'm just surprised that that's where the relationship got. And here was the point I wanted to make. Why do you do this a week before the playoffs start? That is maybe the most confounding thing to me about it.
So ultimately, I think this might be dipping a toe into the conspiracies a little bit because this isn't explicit. But I feel like, so with Jokic on the team, they could win 2 playoff rounds.
Sure.
And then you can't get rid of Mike Malone.
Oh my God.
I think the vibes were so bad that like they could have like gotten far, and then you don't get rid of Malone, and then you get rid of, I don't know. I just don't think Booth, like getting rid of Booth was the right move, but it doesn't motivate anybody. Nobody cares.
Nobody cares
like,
about who the GM is for I would say 28 of the organizations in the team. It's like when you have a Tim Conley and a Masai. They're celebrities.
To us, it's the bigger deal, probably.
Yeah.
Because we know the moves that he hasn't made or made.
Yeah.
But so I just think it's a Hail Mary for sure. I'll say that.
Okay.
But I think the season was going down anyway, and they were just like, all right, if this changes the vibe, and I think a lot of it. God, we're jumping around. We're good. A lot of it is on David Adelman too, because they have a guy who they trust to steer the ship and not have a complete disaster of like a breakdown, right?
Yeah, I agree with that.
And that's already been the case with the vibes, and everything Adelman said has been fantastic.
He's a true pro. Yes. I've always liked him. And
depending on who
exciting.
You ask too in the sports media or whatever. Adelman was doing like a lot of the coaching anyway.
And he was also he's been interviewed at least the past 3 seasons for other head coaching jobs. And that whole if there's a way we can retain all those guys, Adelman, I can't even remember any of the other guys' names. But the defensive coordinator, do you remember his name?
Ryan Saunders.
Ryan Saunders is
former head coach.
Is the white guy.
Yes. Yeah. Popeye Jones?
No, I know Popeye Jones. No, we don't have to do this now, but we still have a very good coaching staff that has a pedigree of winning and also like a legacy. We still have a lot of these dudes whose dads were coaches and players and stuff. And what do you think about this? I wrote this down. The Sacramento connection of it all. Our first game back without Michael Malone was in Sacramento to a team that he was the last team that fired him, and David Adelman's first head coaching game was against an organization that his father coached for a decade.
I know. That is kind of crazy. And I think it's crazy. Just, I don't know. I think it's just kismet
Conspiracy
or whatever. Yeah.
Theory. All right.
I mean,
who have you been spending time with?
I know. The part, I know. I just keep on saying like weird shit.
No, kismet's great.
Yeah.
Add it.
I mean, depending on who you ask in the Nuggets media. I don't know why I said that. That
yeah,
weird.
it's a media thing. All right.
All
right.
But I do agree with you that like there's repercussions to this, how splashy it is, how loud it is. That are definitely going to happen, which sucks, right?
Because
Malone's going to go to a different team and destroy the Nuggets every year. Yeah. That's probably going to happen.
Yeah,
and that's the way he did the Kings forever.
And he'll probably go to a good team.
Yeah, and I mean the word is a little bit that he might succeed Popovich, and so if he's with Wemby forever, that might.
Whoa.
We'll see if that happens. Who knows?
I mean, that worst case is Lakers.
Oh yeah, I mean worst case is like a Lakers or a Celtics thing or something.
Yeah, I guess that's easy worst case.
I mean,
I would love if he went to
Spurs is close.
It is for right now. I'd love if he went to the Bull or the Knicks. If people are tight, that'd be sick. Hometown boy.
People have talked about that.
I think I think the clock on.
I can see that.
But if you're talking about managing players who are professional, like
he's a Nick ass coach too.
What's that?
He's a Nick ass coach too.
For sure. I would be psyched to see him on the Knicks and only see him twice a year. It's a shame. I still think it's a shame.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what comes next. Do you want to have a conversation about who a coach could be next season, or do we keep Adelman? Has he shown enough?
Well, that's another point of firing him right now. Is Adelman gets a trial?
Yeah,
and it's hard to tell how these relationships are putting into it. Like who knows? Jokic might like Adelman more. And it's hard to tell how the other players are adjusting to it. My other thing I was really social media heavy this week.
Of course.
Because I wanted to see any Nuggets player be mad.
Right.
And I didn't see anything. I mean, they all said nice things,
Right.
and they all said what they need to say, and it wasn't like bad like in that way. But there was no like tweet of being like, what the fuck, or anything
Or
like
the
that.
eyes.
Yes, or the eyes. The only thing was like a
Stupid.
Bones Highland eyes thing.
Was it really?
Yeah, which
Fucker.
is hilarious to look back on now and be like, oh, maybe
That was a smart move, was it not?
Oh, it was a smart move.
It was a
And it
genius
worked.
move, and we got won the championship.
Yeah, and so like it is funny. You don't see any.
It's true.
Nobody was like seemed super upset about it.
Well, hopefully that means that these guys are still locked in and aren't
Yeah.
going to let something like that phase them. And it's good to have an interim coach
Yeah.
who has won a championship and, I think was calling the X's and O's as far as that part of it.
And Jokic's post-game interview after the
Incredible.
first game.
You mean last night?
Yeah,
Yeah.
It could be
nights ago.
iconic.
Yes.
If they go on a little run
Yeah,
here.
well, it was iconic regardless.
I mean, anyway, yeah. What's the quote? The
Something about the
beast is most
is-
vulnerable.
yeah,
the more
when it's-
dangerous had the most vulnerable or something.
Yeah. I wonder
What
if
a
he
bar.
walked off like that and was like, that was the coolest
I
thing
know.
I ever said. Or if he
Yeah,
had a
yeah.
back pocket thing.
He was mad probably. He's like, I can't believe I gave the media that cool
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, I know. Well, that's exciting. Tonight's going to be, I think,
Yes.
even more important than last night because we're at home. We're against a team who,
I will say,
I guess
yeah,
everybody's.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, about the coaching thing though. You asked me.
I have
about,
a few
yeah.
conversation things.
About who's would be next. I'm not really. I would lean towards Adelman.
That's great.
And I think that's like a more of a small market thing to do anyway, and he's been interviewing for years already.
Of course, yeah.
For other
and
head
other
coaching
teams
jobs.
every offseason.
Yeah, so it's not like that weird of a candidate at
Yeah,
all.
no.
But I would also kind of be more interested in like a college step up from somebody. But I
Ooh,
don't really know
like
who those are.
Noah Likey, that's kind of fun, dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that would make me excited more, but I don't know who exactly
Who's
that
the
is.
Who's the last college to NBA coach that has really succeeded? Is it Billy Donovan, even though he hasn't really succeeded?
Yeah, probably Billy Donovan, who hasn't really worked out, but he's doing
Still-
better in Chicago,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
guess, and stuff.
And I think they've given him carte blanche, kind of. That's an organization.
Yeah. I mean, the Van Gundys have jumped around forever, right, for both
I guess
college
so.
and NBA and stuff like that.
I guess so.
I mean-
but there hasn't been like a clear, like this was his new career and
Yeah.
path when he went to the NBA. There haven't been a lot of coaches that have gotten better.
Yeah.
Once they've
Did
gotten
you
to
see
the
somebody
college coaches.
on online too? It's probably fake, but they said there was mutual interest with Dan Hurley, the guy.
Well, that would be he's the best coach in college.
Yeah.
So why?
But he's
yeah.
also like a fiery, weird guy,
Right.
though.
So that-
like
that
that's
brings up my point of,
that
like,
would make no sense to
the
me.
coaches available. I think a lot of, at least if that's what we're looking for, is a different demeanor mentality. Totally. You have Taylor Jenkins, who is a fiery
Yes.
yeller. Mike Brown, who can be a fiery yeller, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned Frank Vogel, who is not either of those things. Who else? Who are some
You
available?
can get Van Gundy's an assistant in Golden State.
Would you want
right?
him as a head coach?
I mean,
He really does a carousel.
yeah,
He does
yeah,
not
yeah.
last long.
No. What if? How about you just flip it completely, like a JJ Redick thing, and just go get Andre Miller?
Okay, I like that.
Out of the gold.
But that would be sick. Okay, the gold, of course. Shout out to
Grand Rapids.
Yes.
Is it Grand Rapids?
Yeah, Grand
Yes,
Rapids.
yes,
Why can't it? Trey Alexander,
Yeah,
G League Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
So shout out to him. What about Chauncey?
Chauncey would be amazing.
You actually think it would?
I would love it. I mean,
for hype,
they
for
will-
just like story, or do you think it would be successful?
I think for both. I think like
That would be cool.
in offensive. I mean, I think that's kind of what they need now is a player's coach or like a player.
He's
coach
not a
who is
yeller.
player.
He's
Yeah.
a pretty cool customer, Chauncey.
Yeah, like Malone's a player's coach in that he connects with players and stuff, but he's not a player. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like I think that might help.
Yeah, but
it's just a different vibe. You know, what
It
I
feels
mean?
like football, though. It feels like
Yeah.
very few Hall of Fame NBA players end up being Hall of Fame coaches, and a lot of them try.
Oh, yeah,
like
yeah,
Larry
yeah.
Bird was a
Yeah.
terrible coach.
Yes.
So I'm not the through line isn't. I'm not convinced. JJ Redick is I think an exception to the rule
Yeah.
more than it's like
Well,
a trend.
And that's my point though about like people talk about LeBron being a coach on the floor all the time. Jokic is just like that too, if not better, on the floor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think like pairing him with a similar situation would be smart, I think. And we've already seen that too in this one game. This is such a small sample size, so like they're gonna lose tonight, and this is gonna be weird.
You really think so?
No, I don't think so. They're gonna win. But
sometimes, Jacob, you're I can't tell, I depend on you for
the pod. I think they're gonna win, but like I think
it would
pod wise, it's hilarious that they're gonna lose.
It's also something I would say.
And then they do that, but even just that one game, just everything seemed they had different plays. They had Mike MPJ having better like shooting things, and that's the other thing I wanted to talk about is like we don't know who was butting heads with him the most.
That's what I'm so curious
but
about.
It's probably either MPJ or AG.
You don't think Russ maybe? Because Russ has had some bad games, and I'm wondering if Malone is like, hey, you need to watch tape or you need to do this better, and Russ is like, well, I'm a Hall of Famer.
Well, it's the other way, reportedly. People have said that.
Russ is on board.
No, like Booth was mad about the Russ situation because Malone was playing him too much.
Even though Booth made that move in the first place.
Yes, and gave him that, which is whatever. But also, Booth wanted him to play Pickett more because Pickett is kind of the opposite of what Westbrook at this point of no turnovers, at least.
Yeah. He doesn't drive nearly as much.
And these are all reports that are going to come out now, and that's the other bad ramifications of doing it at this time. It's very loud.
Yeah.
Super loud. So another thing people have said, been reported, is that, the special treatment thing with Jokic and Jamal, and Westbrook's part of that. Like, they thought Malone was giving him special treatment when he was also playing poorly. You know what I mean? So, like, that's not – I get that feeling
There's
a
smoke.
little bit, too.
I don't know how much fire there is to that. We've all been –
so,
go ahead.
That all to me is, like, he doesn't make enough money to matter as much. Westbrook, you know what I mean? Like, I get –
right. He's on the vet min.
And that's why I don't think he, like – he also had a bad interview, though, a couple days ago, too. Where
Rusted?
It's like, yeah, where it's, like – all sarcastic to the media, and he didn't talk to the media after like that missed layup game.
Really?
Yeah,
that's like the stuff we don't like to see.
Yeah.
That's
bad
habits.
That is bad habits. But and I don't know. And that's the other.
Especially in Denver. I mean, not that he wasn't shitty to the media in Oklahoma City, right? But
But the first Wednesday
hopefully that's
game,
not a trend.
Yeah, too. Adelman pulled him after like 3 weird plays, and then Pickett closed, and then they won the game.
Closed with 3 straight threes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that too. yeah, which also helps.
Yeah.
It's just it's crazy. I don't know, Noah. I don't want to be like super positive about it, but this is the most interested I felt in the Nuggets for a little bit because of how weird it is a little bit too.
Okay.
And I think, at the same time that they're all going to take the Jokic's demeanor, right? It's a job. They're going to come show up, and like this could shake him up like that. If Jokic is saying it's shaking up him a little bit, like
well, you saw him on the sideline last night, and this is kind of conspiracy theory. I wonder if this is moving even more to a Jokic-centric thing, where he's like, fuck it, I'm going to do everything. With him drawing up plays on the sideline, which he has done before. It's not uncommon for him to do, but when the media and it's on an ESPN game or whatever, it becomes a big deal.
Well, it's funny at the same time, like he might take over a more vocal thing like that, but he had 88 touches, which is his lowest of the season.
Yeah, he did not be one of his worst scoring games, even though he was.
And that seems by design to get.
Well, that's what I was interested in. Was so exciting about that. All the starters were in double figures or more. CB really was a focal point of our offense. So that's the thing. When it can be spread out and Jokic doesn't have to score 45 points in a triple-double, that's why this team has it in them.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
It does. Can I go on a weird rant too real quick?
Please.
I've been talking a lot. I'm sorry.
No, we both have. This is probably, like you said, this has been the biggest thing to happen to this organization since the championship.
One thing I'm very sick of is fans complaining about wasting Jokic.
I hate that too.
I hate that.
Go off, King.
Because there is no wasting the journey is not to be all hippy dippy about it.
No, I love
but
this,
the
dude.
journey
I really
is the
love this.
destination. You know, one of my favorite Jokic years is him trying to win with Facu Campazzo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now they have Pickett, who's a better Facu Campazzo.
Right.
It can actually hit threes and stuff. But I just hate that sentiment that I get trying to build around him better, and I get what they're saying. But, like, to be like, you're wasting Jokic's prime, you don't – Jokic has been better every year.
Yes, correct. So
we don't even know if it's his prime yet either.
Exactly. Well, and how many people are making that same argument for Giannis?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah,
Almost
yeah.
no. I mean, maybe some people are, but I think it's because Jokic is a better basketball player. So maybe if he doesn't win, it's a bigger deal. But that makes me feel good because I also hate the comments of like they're ruining Jokic. They're not going to be able to do it because of a coach getting fired. That's not wasting. That's to your point earlier. That's being proactive.
And that I feel like with the championship, Jokic could, his resume right now is Hall of Fame worthy for sure. It's like top 10.
I'd say so.
Worthy.
If he gets another chip, and if he gets a second championship, I think he's top 10.
But the point
Easy.
being is that nobody wins every year either. You know what I mean?
So that point is what sort of was surprising and frustrating to me about Malone being fired, because it did feel like the culture was around him.
Yeah, but it's been a while now since the championship, and then that's like the last playoffs last year. If they hold on that game 7, they're fine. They had the Timberwolves game this year with the double overtime, the Jokic monster game that they lost, and
because
another
of a
Timberwolves
Russ
thing.
Foul. Yeah.
Yes, but Russ foul. Yeah. Another part of that, which was funny, Russ taking that layup, then missing that layup.
Right.
There was a picture of Pickett on the sideline saying to stop. And don't even
really?
go up. So, like,
Oh, no.
he knew exactly what to do with that situation, which sucks. But that's all to say that I just don't agree with, like, the wasting. Like, then you just don't enjoy the sport of it.
Good.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
Or, like, the legacy, like we talk about all the time, the storybook part of it. And that's so good. Also, okay, that's
No, go out. Give me an also.
Well, it just came to my mind about the coaching opportunity for somebody.
Yeah.
Get someone from Serbia. Who cares?
Fuck.
Get the guy who I don't know about the guy who did the Serbian national team, but get someone.
Well, don't we have
Jokic
a Slav
likes.
or Serb on the one of the guys coordinators, dude? That's really smart.
Yes,
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Why
so
not?
Just get someone who Jokic really loves.
We have a surprise guest. I'm sure he doesn't want to. What do you think about? He's in the middle of the conversation.
Okay.
That's
He's
okay.
already talking.
And
Never
he's
mind.
crippled.
Okay. Is he?
But you can check out.
Oh.
Hi.
Hey, there he is.
You can check out CHRIS Higgins' new special being released.
Oh no.
No,
He's
don't
gonna
do
turn
it.
the camera
Don't
on him. He's gonna turn the camera on him.
What, were you jerking off with your foot and that's why you broke it? No.
Oh, what happened?
My cat tripped me and I fell down all my stairs.
Oh no,
Oh my
Alan
God.
Rickman.
That's like some Bridget Jones shit.
Where should I go?
You can
Oh,
sit in the
God.
middle.
Oh,
We're wrapping
God.
up anyway. You could just give us a quick hello.
Yeah.
CHRIS Higgins, everybody.
CHRIS Higgins, everybody.
In town. Good to
Hello.
see you.
Good to see you, buddy. Hello.
Oh, wow. Okay. Here we go.
Nuggets, go Nuggets.
Make Jokic the coach.
Oh, that's
Oh, good. We were just saying we should just recruit his childhood coach from Serbia or something like that.
I just had an epiphany that
that's
let's
a great
go
call.
Serbian. Let's just make it all Serbian.
Who's the Serbian national team coach?
That's
Branislav Kovac?
Yeah, that fella.
I made that up.
Have that fella hop on.
yeah.
That fella hop on in. I want to see.
Would you be psyched with Chauncey?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So everyone's on board with that. I think that would be so fun, but I just don't know how good of a coach he is.
Yeah. Are
it's-
the Blazers good?
They've been good
Yeah.
in since the
Oh,
All-Star
yeah.
break. They actually have been good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Anyway.
doubt they will get rid of him because it seems like they're investing a lot in
Yeah,
him. But
yeah.
How did you feel, Chris, learning the news of Michael Malone? This is our first pod since then. So
Oh, really?
This is all
Oh,
about,
heck yeah.
This is all about Malone.
Hey, thanks for having me on, fellas.
Yes,
Of course, it's our
glad
pleasure.
I could make
Thanks for
it.
coming in. Yeah.
And sweet new digs.
Oh,
Yeah, we're
thank
gonna
you,
do
thank
that.
you.
We're gonna.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
another
dope.
2 new eras.
crazy.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, 2 new eras.
Things really
We're
changing.
in the post-Malone era. Everyone's Everyone's made that joke,
I
I'm
know.
sure.
Have they?
It
Oh
is
my
good.
god.
Oh yeah, just pictures of Post Malone.
I've made a Post Malone joke way before while he was the head
Years.
coach.
Yeah.
Forever.
Pre-Malone, Post-Malone.
Yeah.
I was very surprised. I was on vacation. I've been on vacation.
Oh,
which was
fancy.
really nice.
Monaco.
Yep. I was in Monaco on the beach.
Yes.
Me and all Pierre Gasly.
Of course.
But no, I was relaxing, and then my phone blew up. All of a sudden, I got like a bunch of texts.
Same thing with me.
Yeah, and which everyone just being like, "Have you seen the news? Holy shit! Oh my god! Like, can't believe it. This is terrible." I thought something had happened.
Oh yeah.
My phone was right next to me. It was like ding 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 ding, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
like a plane
I think
crash or something.
Yeah,
I had a similar experience, but my phone was off, so I turned it on, and they all came at like one time.
Man,
And it was really scary.
I was shocked, but I have to say, like his comments the other night about sending film to the players and they don't watch film and we'll watch it for them. I was like, oh, this guy hates these guys.
No.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I don't think he likes these fellas. So, my opinion is that sometimes you gotta burn it all down,
Crack
to
some eggs.
regrow it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Great.
that's been pretty much our positive point.
No,
Yeah.
I've been
been
sold.
too.
You've
Yes.
sold me on
The
it.
timing's weird.
Timing is the biggest
Yes,
thing I'd
but-
say.
But it also maybe it gives us the best chance in the playoffs if Coach Moach was just gonna give it to fucking. Coach Moach is not who I'm thinking. That's a person. Never
No,
mind.
that is
No,
what
that
we
is
called
Moach,
him.
yeah.
Moach is
Moach?
correct.
Moach.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, Moach, dude, like love the guy, but he just the first game back, the ball was shared. Everyone was like when Jokic was on the
It's true.
floor, other people were doing stuff.
Yes.
It's a refresh.
Which before Moach just seemed like he was like, all right, give the ball to that guy.
Yeah.
And then he might give it back. He'll probably give it back to you because he loves to assist people, but everything went through him.
Well, we'll see. We'll
Yeah.
see. Why don't you cancel your shows tonight and come to the game?
I'm in.
Great.
It took almost no convincing.
You've canceled for less, I'm sure. I certainly have.
I think I hate comedy.
No, you love basketball. It's not hating comedy.
Yeah, that's right. I
Check
love
out Chris
basketball.
Higgins tonight and tomorrow at
Denver Comedy Underground.
Well, I was gonna say Denver Comedy Underground,
Yeah.
You get a
which is a
Shams
different
tweet tomorrow,
venue.
just like Chris Higgins has been released from comedy.
I really wish that I saw that news.
I wish
sometime.
comedy.
I wish I saw that for other people.
I wish
you know?
comedy was way more like that, where we could get
Yeah.
contracts and like it's like, oh, Noah was traded to New York City, you
Yeah.
know, and
Oh,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
I don't have to pay for anything.
For who?
Yeah.
Who do we get in return?
Washing machine.
We get Nalawi Mengus and 1 first-round pick.
yeah. So the new Noah. I haven't
Mark
seen him in
Maron
a while.
has to move here.
That would be cool. Let's do that. Let's do a players' association for comedians.
Yeah.
We can all agree on things.
We've talked about a loser leaves town mic too before, where like the worst set of the night just can't do comedy for 3 months.
And of course Nathan Lund did that bit for a while where he would battle for the Denver. Anyway, we're going into stuff we don't really want to go into. Where is your special, Chris?
My special is going to be on YouTube.
Fuck yeah.
Soon.
yes.
Don't worry. Hey, we're just getting.
Ominously soon.
We're giving them a tease. Of course, produced by our
Yes.
very own Dude IDK Studios,
Yep.
Jacob and
Yep.
Nick.
Yep.
So things are well. That's exciting.
Yeah, I'm really stoked about it. I saw all 4 shows, which
You did all 4 shows.
I did 4 shows. I watched all 4 shows, and it's so weird to say, but I was like pretty stoked.
Oh yeah, no,
That
it's
is
a
weird
great
to
hour.
say.
It's a
Oh
great
no,
hour
yeah,
for
you're
sure.
right. No, you
I was
shouldn't
like,
say that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Job, Chris.
Hey,
And honestly,
that
that's a
rules.
hard homework assignment. You know,
Yeah.
watching yourself
Oh,
do
it
for
was
4
tough.
hours
It took me longer than I thought.
I've been
Yeah,
trying to
yeah.
feel better about myself and that kind of stuff recently too. So
yeah, watching yourself is tough. Shout out to
being having a
Being alive.
self-positive, being you know who I'm my biggest fan for sure,
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, yeah.
which is I am
who's biggest fan?
myself.
Oh yeah, you
Yeah,
gotta be.
You gotta
Oh,
be.
come on.
Yeah, I'm
No,
not doing
I'm hoping
comedy to
not.
make other people laugh.
Oh yeah, no.
I'm trying to make myself laugh.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Shout out to Joe. I did this show. Have I already said this on the podcast? There's a man, Joe. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Eero, maybe. He's my only fan. Not as like a bit, but is the only person who has ever bought tickets to shows or merchandise on my website.
That's
And-
not true. I don't think.
maybe it's not true, but he's the only one that really is he's the self-proclaimed Noah's biggest fan.
Yeah.
So he was in
He's
the front
corner
row
over here.
Yeah, he was in the front row of a show I did, and I riffed on it, and it was really funny. He makes me nervous, but I'm sure he listens. So Joe, thank you so much for all your support, dude.
Sweet.
Next time you want to come to a show, I will let you in for free. Dear God.
Let's do conspiracy theories about Malone, and then we'll get out of here.
Okay.
Do you have any conspiracy theories, Chris, that have come up? I'll let you think about it.
Some stuff I've read is that like he just lost the locker room.
Yeah,
that's not really that fun.
But that's not a conspiracy theory. My conspiracy theory: he tried to kiss one of the players.
Oh, that's a good one.
That is a good one. Which one?
He called himself Mr. Kisses and went in for it.
I was gonna say
he's like, call me Mr. Kisses, Christian.
Yeah, that would be the one, right? That's the one you have to kiss.
Yeah.
I was going to say that he inappropriately I was going to say that Josh Kroenke inappropriately touched him in like an assault kind of way, and it was kind of like an NDA hush-hush kind of thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like
and
the
as always,
I don't know if you guys seen The Brutalist.
I should say.
I have not yet.
Yeah,
I am going
waiting for it to come out on Southwest Airlines.
Yeah. And then fly to London so you can be able to watch it.
Then I'll watch it.
Yeah. I forgot what I was going to say.
Yeah, okay.
Kroenke boned him, and then we had to.
Oh, yeah, it was something.
It was a hush firing.
Shout out to the Denver Foos, friend of the podcast.
Of course.
Friends of the podcast. They posted immediately a talking video of a conspiracy I love, which is that the Lakers, through the Kroenke's ownership in LA, asked them to fire their coach so the Lakers would win the championship.
Cool.
Oh,
and that kind of ties into the Luka conspiracy of just going to the LA and stuff.
Oh, I mean,
if it's an LA Celtics finals, I will
my prediction,
tinfoil hat on.
This is my tinfoil hat on. It's going to be LA, Cleveland.
Okay.
And LeBron's going to win in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And
that does seem pretty manufactured.
And I think we're going to make it to the Western Conference Finals.
Yes, I do too. I think we're going to win. I think we're going to win the championship this year.
Yep.
Damn, I really convinced Noah this podcast.
Well, because
it has nothing to do with you. I'm being more positive in my own life.
When last time Jokic got absolutely freaking ripped off from the MVP,
it's happening
we won
again.
the ship.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean, it's already happening again. All these fuckers think that it's going down.
I've always said that
SGA.
his off years, his MVP off years, he gets the ring. Yeah. So that'd be great.
Yeah,
that'd be hilarious, really, if that's the trend. he doesn't get an MVP that everyone also agrees he deserves and then wins a championship.
Yeah, God.
Anyway, well, good.
A sadder conspiracy theory is that Jamal's injury is really bad and he won't play in the playoffs at all.
I think
they kind of got ahead of it so that people won't just blame Jamal
you think that's
this playoffs. And so like they could just kind of blame it on
that's sad. I don't like that.
The coaching change and stuff. So
I have to mention a third conspiracy theory, of course, is that Michael Malone protested the war in the Middle East and was therefore deported.
Oh.
Yeah.
An ICE thing.
And my fourth conspiracy is that
all right, then I'll probably do one more.
Kroenke walked into his office and found Calvin Booth and Malone.
We did like 3 of them. 3 of them we
like
did.
Like an Emi Aduka thing.
Yeah.
Why did we do 3 sex things? We could do like one more fun one.
Sex is why you get fired these days. I don't
know.
Oh
my God, brother, you're telling me.
In other words, Noah's unemployed now.
Sorry, this climate.
Noah lost his job too the other day.
Oh damn it! No, I'm
sex
sorry.
Stuff.
No, I very much didn't.
I'm joking. Yeah,
not that I'm like loyal, but like
I very much did it.
Yeah, I would be doing. I would be trying to find a new job. Shout out to American Data Bank, of course, brought to you by DISA, which is our new the company that acquired us. I don't have much information on them. They have sent an email about a drug test. Which is something that I'm not planning on responding to.
He's been doing this.
Yeah.
You don't go in enough for them to drug test.
I go in 0 times. I've been in probably once in the last year.
What do you do?
Excuse me. That's none of your business.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just American Data
I just told you I work at American Data Bank.
Oh.
And it was recently acquired by DISA, which is our new owner, if you really want to know.
New Sauron.
You don't understand that? So
yeah.
I kind of blanked.
Weird.
You started saying weird.
Anyway, my point to that was I'm not going to do that drug test thing unless they really ask nicely, because I do Oh wait, no, I don't. I don't do any drugs at all. I do take prescription medication.
If you happened to test positive for, maybe secondhand smoke from
right,
marijuana,
which is possible because I'm around a lot of people that do in fact do that.
Isn't it legal here?
Well, this is an interesting, I believe DISA, which is the company that recently acquired American Data Bank. I think they're out of Texas. Now, I don't know if that means their half-man wheelchair guy has any sort of jurisdiction over here, but I would hope not.
How do you deal with that, Chris? Deal with that traveling around so much?
I just put it in my bag.
Yep, that's what I thought.
I smoke weed everywhere.
It's like the easiest thing.
Hypothetically.
Brett. Brent.
Yeah.
There's a Brant, a Brett, and a Brent. What do you think about that? First of all, that's awful. Second of all,
they're gonna be on the block, on the trading block.
Brent Gill walked through airport security because I one time watched his Instagram stories. God knows why. And he walked through airport security with a half-packed pipe in his water bottle thing. So yeah, they don't care anymore.
No, they don't. It's not. I mean, I've travel mostly with a vape.
Right. Have you gone internationally with a vape?
No, never internationally. Okay. And to tell you the truth, I try to head out of Chicago and then I'll finish it, and I'm paranoid to like fly out of Nashville with pot. You know what I mean? I don't want to do that.
I think domestically,
finish it where you're going.
Domestically, I've stopped worrying. Again, my friend has stopped. You've stopped worrying domestically altogether. Not me.
Yes.
I'm still just going to Hudson News and getting People magazine. That's what I do when I go to the airport, and that's what makes my flight.
I go
easier.
buy a novel about a ship.
Fuck yeah.
As soon as I can.
I used to, I'm into planes. I used to always get plane magazines, and people would look at me weird reading plane magazines on a plane. They'd think I'm like a terrorist or something. No, it's not. Maybe I'll do.
Reading plane magazines on a plane.
Yeah, and then like looking over to somebody in the aisle, like.
We're on this right now.
Yeah, exactly.
You think this is gonna hold up?
Well, it's like my bit is I still read the pamphlet, the safety instructions very closely and make people uncomfortable. How does this work?
Noah claps after every announcement.
I'm laughing at every single flight attendant's bit.
You thank everybody real sternly.
You know what's so funny?
Handshakes all around.
I was thinking about this recently. Let's wrap up. But when I'm on an aircraft, more often, I would say 100% of the time, I have a drink and I finish it and I'm like, well, now I just have to wait for them to come back around. Have you guys ever? No. You have, just to get a refill.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm going to start doing that.
Yeah.
Because it's not ridiculous, right?
No, it's not. And also, like, I'm not.
Sorry.
I'm going to be polite to them, but they're working for me.
Certainly.
Like, I'm obviously not going to be rude to anybody, but like, I just paid for a ticket.
Yeah.
If I want something, I will have it.
I bought a ticket somewhere. And
not impolitely, but like
that's cool.
I want a coffee.
I'm gonna start doing that.
Please grab me one if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah. What do you call them? You call them sky waitresses?
Yes. You there, sky wench.
Excuse me.
Regardless of gender.
Cloud servant. Plane boy.
Plane boy. Yeah, you have a little bell.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, where'd you get that bell?
What do you do for a job? I'm a plane boy. There's someone standing out giving you a mint every time you get that's fun.
A napkin down. You're like, pick that up.
Yeah, we should start an airline.
I'm in.
I bet they have plane boys on Emirates and
let's call it
plane
Southeast Airlines.
We should call it South North Airlines so get people really confused.
That's good. I like that.
Okay. Anything to plug? You got a special coming out?
Special coming out. I'm on tour always, constantly, except for August this year. And
sick.
Come hang out. I have a podcast coming out soon.
Oh hell yeah!
It's going to be called Parlor Car.
Oh man, you're really getting on the podcast ship.
Yep. I'm coming on board, boys.
Cool, and we'll be guests. I can't wait. What's it about?
Nothing.
Wonderful.
Sick. Cool.
Well, take it from us that having a premise does not lead to success. So I would say that you're probably already doing great.
Yes.
But thank you, Chris. What a pleasure it is.
Chris.
See us both at Comedy Denver Underground tomorrow night.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
And shout out Dude IDK Studios, the new digs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Jacob,
beautiful.
Do you want to do anything special?
I just want to say that I will miss Michael Malone. I feel like I've
good.
come really
that's
hard
fine.
on this podcast.
That's fine.
And I don't want to seem like a heartless person, but I'm kind of over sports emotionally like that.
Kind of am too.
Where I'm like,
let's get it. Let's start putting up a wall.
Yeah.
Jacob usually very in tune with his emotions. So
thank you for everything you did.
Yes.
See you later.
But yes, Game 7 last year, I still think about a lot. And this season hasn't been much better. So ultimately, let's see how Adelman does, and then we'll just let Jokic do everything.
Yep. All right. Anything to plug, Jacob?
Jokic should get Facu Campazzo actually just to
coach.
Yes.
That's not a bad idea. What if we got an NFL coach? What if we just got Bill Belichick?
That'd be really cool.
He's a college football coach now.
I know he is. Fuck him. Fuck you, Bill Belichick.
Yes,
I hate you so much.
That's my plug. Fuck you, Bill Belichick.
Yeah. Check out the new Dude IDK Studios.
Cool
I don't know
girlfriend.
if I'm allowed to say check it out or anything, but
you can say that.
Come check it out. At the address that's a secret.
Yeah. It's well, I'll tell you, it's across the street from the Juvenile Detention Center. On Downing and 28. I'm almost just.
Well, we're finding our target demographic, so that's.
Yeah, and by target you mean
shooting.
Over there? Yeah, it's a Juvenile Detention.
Nice. So my car's gonna be probably really safe.
Oh, it's fine.
Yeah, there's also a liquor store.
There's a lot more foot traffic here, Chris. If you know what I'm saying.
Good.
Well, thanks, dude.
All right, thank you guys.
Good to talk.
Appreciate you.
Nuggets fans, let's go!